and we are getting started with the best internet radio show, the Sticky Buttons Podcast. This is your host, Brandon.
And this is Blake.
And we're back at you with an 84th episode. Let's see if I can make a funny joke about 84 like I did.
I don't think there's anything there, man.
There's nothing there.
It's very, very symmetrical. You got 8 equals 4, then, 4 equals 2, and 2 equals 1. Then you got halves and 0.
There's nothing you could say about 84, man.
It's very symmetrical. You could say that. It's a symmetrical number.
An even number.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us here at the Sticky Buttons Podcast. I think we're off to a slow start today because we just have so much we want to talk about that I feel like we're trepidatious to get into it. But Brandon, before we do, I actually want to spring something on you. Okay. How are you feeling about Starfield? How have you picked it up recently?
I haven't played it in a while, honestly.
Really?
But, I'll get around to it. It's like Skyrim. I still play Skyrim every once in a while, so I know I'll pick it up eventually.
I want to ask you something. How are you feeling about Skyrim versus Tears of the Kingdom? I feel like you've had both of them long enough. I feel like you kind of played, and then you kind of stopped. Which one would you like better? Do you have any thoughts? Which one do you think really resonated with you more?
That's a hard choice, for sure. Damn.
Nothing definitive, just if you had any thoughts on it.
I would have to go with Skyrim. As just the hours played there.
That wasn't one of the options, man.
I thought you said Skyrim or Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I may have said Skyrim.
You meant Starfield.
I meant Starfield. I meant Starfield.
Okay.
Did I say Skyrim? I think I'd probably go Skyrim too.
Dude, this is you put me in a rough spot. But I'm going to have to go with Tears of the Kingdom then.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, maybe as I explore Starfield some more, that might change, but Tears of the Kingdom is just a solid game, a great follow-up to Breath of the Wild, and I'm really looking forward to playing more of that in the coming future.
Yeah. I think I might have to agree with you. I feel like Starfield's really awesome, and I really like a lot of the things that they're doing, but I feel like Tears of the Kingdom really surprised me. I don't know, it kind of just brought some joy to my face that I didn't necessarily... I enjoyed aspects that I didn't even know existed. And
totally. With
Starfield, I find myself... things that I want to engage in, like systems like shipbuilding, just not really feeling like I'm comfortable to do that. Or not really feeling like I have the skill tree to make it worth my time to invest even looking at it.
Right.
Or engaging with it at all. So,
right.
I don't know, I feel like Tears of the Kingdom really succeeds where... Starfield fails. Or doesn't do as well.
I mean, I think they're very separate games in their own aspects.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Starfield definitely gets that space theme right.
Yeah. Definitely.
They executed that well. And Tears of the Kingdom is more of I really like the Minecraft analogy of it. It's really like a Minecraft game set in a Link universe because you can truly craft almost anything. It's very, very interesting. I really want to explore that some more. Just seeing all the content that people have made in that community is very inspiring, to say the least. The Starfield community, too. I mean, I've seen some Star Wars content that was really, really cool.
Yeah, there's been some really cool ships.
It seems like that takes a lot more time. It seems like the time that it takes in Tears of the Kingdom to creatively make something like that, and then as opposed to Starfield, I think Starfield takes a lot more time and effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really wasn't... We didn't plan about talking about that at all. I just kind of wanted to pick Brandon's brain there.
Yeah, it's a good way to get started there.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as we hit the record button... So I guess just to, peek behind the curtain. We're recording Monday night. As soon as we hit record, I just got super tired, so... I don't know if you feel the same way.
Dude, I'm exhausted, man. I've been up since last night. I stayed out late, and then I got up for an 8 a.m. I'm tired. I have bags under my eyes, but I love doing this, so I'm geeked out. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Maybe because we're tired, we'll be able to keep it short and be able to stay focused. Who knows? But I guess I'll kick us off on what we had planned to talk about. I guess let me ask you this, Brent. Are you subscribed to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack? I think is what it's called.
No, I'm not. I just pay for the regular Nintendo Switch Online service.
Okay, so I think that just to, I guess, clarify, because it's so confusing. I'm pretty sure you have to pay for the one where you get, like, the Nintendo 64 and, like, the Game Boy Advance and just, like, the extra one where you get, like, the Mario Kart DLC. That subscription service, they sometimes will occasionally offer game demos. And at the time of this recording, the game demo we're going to talk about will have been ended. But I think it's kind of cool that they offer these game demos. I mean, something where you kind of have access to the full game for like 5 or 6 days. And in this case, it's a game that I really wanted to check out, but was just too hesitant to pull the trigger. So I'm very excited to finally be able to check it out. This game is called Cult of the Lamb, and I'm not sure if we talked about it.
I don't think so.
Okay. Now, this was one, I guess if you've listened to every episode of the podcast, you will have heard of this game, because this is they had a demo at PAX both years that I went, and both Andrew and myself were never able to demo it because the lines were just so long. And if you are unfamiliar with this game, it kind of swept the internet when it released because it's like a very cute game. Like the animals and the creatures in it look very cute. And it has like a very dark undertone. I mean, Cult of the Lamb. And it kind of looks like a very action roguelike. But there's also some like farm building and farm sim elements to it. So it's really interesting. And I think it was just like people's interest was piqued when this game initially like released and when there were trailers. And I really wanted to jump on the train and play this game. But I think just for whatever reason, I just didn't have time or didn't want to spend the money on it.
The art style in this game is like very interesting.
Yes. It's actually, that's one of the first things I wanted to say about this is I was playing it and kind of over my shoulder. Erin came up to me and she was like, wow, what are you playing? Like, this is a cute game. And I was like, oh, just you wait. Not only is it cute, but I'm actually the leader of a cult, so she was like, what? And I just think it's so funny. So if you don't mind, Brandon, I'd love to tell you a little bit about the lore. Yeah. The lore of this. And this kind of happens as soon as you turn on the game. And I just think it's so funny. So basically you're a lamb. And the game starts and you are on an altar. Like you're on like a sacrificial altar. And there are these figures. They're gods. They're the gods of the old faith. And they kind of talk about a prophecy. And how you, being the last lamb, the last of your name, the last of your kind, as soon as you are sacrificed, you will fulfill the prophecy, and the old faith will remain supreme for eternity. So they sacrifice you, and you die. And they think that's the end. Little do they know, you meet the one who waits, who is a god bound in chains that's able to resurrect you if you start a cult in their name. And they give you a red crown and you become their vessel, the vessel of the one who waits. Or as you find out, they're called the bishops of the old faith. They call it the chained one or the one in chains. And you start a cult. The game is kind of mixed between two elements where it's like you kind of go on these runs in like an action roguelite type run. And then you come back and you have this like farm sim that you have to manage. And you have to manage your cult. You have like this huge area. And you start off with a few cult members. I started off with one. And I just had him initially just like gathering wood for me. And it turns into like gathering stones. And then you can build a temple. And then you can conduct sermons. And you can upgrade your... It's kind of crazy because there's like 12 or 13 different things you have to like constantly manage. You have to manage their food and like all of these things. And I was running a pretty tight cult. It was actually kind of interesting. Like this one follower came up to me and he was like, hey, we're eating a lot of berries. Like we should, like if you wanted, you could make us eat grass and like we would. And it was like, you can either do it and feed them grass or you can like lose faith and Because basically, I don't really know why, but it's basically this mechanic where it's like you're kind of put into a scenario where it's like your follower has a really awful idea and you can either do it or not. And if you do it, it's like a bad outcome. But if you don't do it, they lose faith in you. So it's kind of like you got to judge like where you are and like where your faith meter is.
I see.
So basically, I did it. So I fed them grass, and a couple of them got sick, and I had to like put them to bed rest. So I basically like made beds, and they had to like sleep in them. But I had this one. It was kind of crazy. I had this one follower. They came up to me. They were like, "I think I named my cult. You can name your cult whatever you want. I just kept it Cult of the Lamb." And they were just like, "Leader, master, I have this desire. I've always wanted to eat poop."
What the
And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Fine, whatever. I guess." Like, it was like, it pulled up as like a mission. It was like, feed your follower poop. And like, I guess that's something that like when you feed the followers, they also poop, and you can use that poop as like fertilizer for your, like, to grow your berries. And I don't know. It's like very cute, but it's also like, you know, it has this addictive undertone. So I was like, all right. So I kind of like went into my like cooking station, and there was like a bowl of poop, and that was that was the like, it was a recipe. Yeah. So I made it for him, and he like came up and he kind of like grabbed it in his hands. He looked really happy, and he ate it, and you could see like hearts kind of like erupted from him, and then he immediately got sick. And I was like, of course he got sick. So I had to like send him to bed rest.
That's the best poop he ever had.
I know, but his devotion went up. So I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, so I guess that is just, it's very interesting, that like farming element to it. And you kind of like meet a couple people, like throughout your run, you meet a fisherman. And then like when you get back to that area, you can like leave the area, like your area where your cult is, and you can go fishing. That's fun because you can get some additional rewards for the fishing. And then you can go, and I guess there was a person that was the original like vessel of the chained one, or the one who waits, and he's kind of helping you set up the cult. He retires, and he gets like a hut in the woods, and he loves playing this game called Knucklebones. So you have to like defeat him in this like dice game.
That sounds gruesome.
You know me. Love dice games. So it's got a lot of things that I like. Like, it's got like, especially if you like cozy games, like it's got a lot of that. Like, it's got like farm sim elements. It's very cute. And even the stuff that's creepy, like it still has like an undertone of cute to it. And you know, you can go fishing, you can play like dice games, and then when you like actually go out into the world, they call them crusades, which I thought was kind of, I don't know, I think it fits really well. And I honestly think it's just like a great execution of a game. I mean, because you'd kind of think like it has so many different elements, like how does it work together? But it really does. It really works. And when you go out onto these crusades, like the combat is just so fun. It's just incredibly snappy. Like whenever you do a dodge roll, like the animation looks very cool, and it's very slick. I mean, like truly it is very snappy. And I think that that's what you want in a game like this. So, I mean, it's just crazy. Like you can go out on your run, you can find these like combat buffs. You can find like this person that gives you like a tarot card, and once you get the tarot card, you'll get like a big buff. Like one was like gain an extra heart for this run, and another one was like your damage does 1.5 times the amount of damage that you have. And I actually had like a weapon that it was slow, but it did a lot of damage. And I got that tarot card on that run, and I was able to defeat one of the bishops, which is, you know, there's 4 bishops, so I was able to complete, I guess, a quarter of the game. So, I mean, I'm probably not going to continue playing it just because I don't want to buy it, but I just can't believe it does all these things so well. You know? I mean, you'd kind of think that it wouldn't, but it really succeeds.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a top-down 2D game. It's like, you wouldn't think that it does all of those things. But
yeah, I'm honestly just incredibly impressed by it.
It's awesome. I love all the art. I've been looking at the art. What's one of the most challenging parts of this game you faced so far?
Well, I think that the reason that I'm not going to buy it is I made it through this one aspect. Like I made it through, I guess, like the first section. I was able to, you know, defeat the boss at the end of that. And then I got to the next section, and the difficulty really just spiked. And I really just wasn't, I don't know. I don't know if I was ready for it. Like, as you progress through, like, the cult, like, if you build your cult up, you really have to, or once you build your cult up, you get a lot of, like, buffs and boons from the cult, like, permanent upgrades. And those are really nice because they help you out when you're out on your crusades. But I just couldn't really find myself wanting to engage with that anymore. Like, I enjoyed the cult, or the cult management, but I like to kind of do them in tandem, and I just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to sink a ton of time into this in order to get the buffs that I want, and I just don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the rough part about a roguelite, is you're going to have to put in a lot of work to get results, see results.
Yeah. I was getting, like, a lot of, like, I guess, they were called decorations, but they were kind of like cosmetic things for your town. And I mean, if you look online, like, people have made some, like, incredible looking cults that are, like, very organized, and they just look really good. And I just don't know if I'm just not willing to put that kind of time into this. I really liked it, but and honestly, I think it's like a great spooky season game as well. I mean, we're at the end of October, and, like, I think this is an absolutely great spooky season game. Just because it's fun and cute, but also kind of a little bit satanic. And
a little bit. I mean...
Just a little bit.
It has Masonic imagery all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely satanic. But it's in the fun way, you know? I was actually looking at some reviews, and I guess I'll disagree with some reviews here a little bit. I think there was a lot of reviews that were a little bit negative on it because I guess the critique is it has absolutely nothing to say about cults and how they can be kind of manipulative and why the reasons people, joins cults are they're really generally they're put in an impossible situation and very susceptible to being manipulated.
Yep.
And I think that was kind of the criticism, that it just truly has absolutely nothing to say about that. And I don't know. I'm not looking for that personally.
Yeah, it's clear that the creators of the game don't have that at the top of their mind. They're just trying to, like, create the art and tell the story.
Yeah, and
they did a good job.
Game.
They did a good job at that. I mean, it looks very, very appealing.
Yeah, I honestly think that this game it trailers well too. So, like, if you watch a trailer, I mean, that's what the game is. And I think that if you're interested in this game based on what we've said or what it looks like, I just pick it up because you're going to have a great time.
Cult of the Lamb.
But
that's awesome that we can try out a
Cult
demo.
of the Lamb.
It's awesome that we can try out a demo and speak to it. Like, we don't have to purchase the game to be able to bring something meaningful to our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is something that's really awesome about the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion service. Which I guess is, I don't know, I personally hate paying for all these subscriptions. And I think it's absolute bullshit that we are expected to pay $60, $70 a year now, for online functionality with our, like, PlayStations and Xboxes. Like, it's a computer. Like, let us get online. I've always thought it was highway robbery for that, and I just don't really see the value add. And I don't know, sometimes I get kind of frustrated with that aspect of gaming. But with Nintendo, one, it's the cheapest. Like, even at the Nintendo, like, the most premium Nintendo service, like, it is still less than $60 a month. And I think you get a lot out of it. You do get, like, DLCs. You have the ability to play NES, SNES, Game Boy, Nintendo 64. I think you can even play some Sega games as well. Like, I think that the value add is just incredible. And I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, I have to look into that. I would love to play some old Nintendo 64 Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, I don't think that one's on there. Here, hold on. Let's see. List and that's one of the things that, like, really bugs me is they really they put some of the games out there, but, like, not the ones that people want to play. Like, I want to play, like, Pokemon Red. I want to play some of the Game Boy
Dude,
Pokemon
imagine.
games.
Do they have any Pokemon games? They probably don't.
They have the trading card game and, like, the puzzle games. I think they have, like, Pokemon Stadium, maybe.
I mean, the Game Boy Advance, like, come on.
I know. I'm really hoping that they put some out there.
They're probably really waiting to put some of those out there because those are sick.
Yeah, okay, so for the Nintendo 64, they currently have Banjo-Kazooie, Dr. Mario 64, Excitebike 64, F-Zero X, GoldenEye 007, Kirby the Crystal Shards, Mario Golf, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Mario Tennis, Paper Mario, Pilotwings 64, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 2, Sin and Punishment, Star Fox 64, Mario 64, Legend Zelda Majora's Mask, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Wave Race 64, Wind Black, Covert Operations, and Yoshi's Story. That's all the Nintendo 64 games they have right now.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah. If you look at it's less than you'd think, and I think with the Game Boy Advance, it's, I don't know, I feel like I'd really want them to have a little bit more, but it is what it is, I suppose. But I do think just in general, I think it's one of the better offerings. But yeah, so I guess just to clarify, when I was at PAX, it really was a demo of the game, and what they're doing here is they give you access to the full game, but it's only available for 5 days.
Oh, wow.
So, Brandon, I guess if you decided, you could play it for like a day. I think there's like a day left on it. And I think they kind of had it, like it ends at midnight, or it ends like at the end of the day, Halloween. So the access ends on Halloween, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, so very good spooky game. But that's Cult of the Lamb. So I'll let you kick us off on the next one.
Yeah, Cult of the Lamb is really, really cool. It's going to be hard to follow up. But, I've been playing a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've since learned how to escape, and I've been escaping a lot.
Have you been doing it multiple times?
Yeah, dude, I've gotten to the point now where I can help others escape too. So I figured out how to sneak up into the second floor of the family's house and open up the circuit breaker so that I can open up the basement exit. And the basement exit is the most convenient one to open because we all start out in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And there are wells conveniently placed across the map so that if you're ever being chased around, just the outside, around the house or something, you can kind of bail and jump into the well and, restart in the basement because there are a lot of, like, hiding places and stuff. It's a little harder to find.
Oh, so the wells kind of all take you down to the basement?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of like the escape mechanism.
So I guess let me ask you this. When you're playing as, like, either the chaser or the person that's being chased, it's the same map, right?
They actually do change the maps. The premise is still the same as far as, like, okay. Leatherface always starts in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other two characters, whichever ones they pick, start up in the house. And there are still going to be 4 victims always. And they all start in the basement. What else can I say about it?
I mean, I'm honestly surprised it's held your attention this long.
Dude, yeah. Me too. It's just one of those games where I'm like, hey, can you guys get on? Like, I'd love to escape, and everyone's down to get on because it's like every time it's thrilling and it's fun. It's always a new experience. You're never going to get the same kind of experience on that game. There's just so many different play styles and approaches to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun, and I like both perspectives. Sometimes it's fun to just switch it up and be a family member and try to catch everybody before they escape.
Yeah.
It's really fun, dude. I've been having a blast on that.
Did you ever hop in solo and like try and take out the survivors trying to escape?
I never do play family solo. I feel like I would get very frustrated playing with random people, especially if they don't have microphones. Because as the killers, communication is key. Like, you need to be able to... Because you can't be everywhere at once. So you need to be able to kind of, like, trap people within the house.
Because, I mean, you're outnumbered, right?
You are outnumbered. Yeah, 3 to 4. So, it's fun.
Right.
It's fun to, like, escape people. Like, be in, like, a chase. Someone's, like, right on you, and then you just, like, turn a corner. And then they're looking for you, and you're just hiding in the bushes. And...
Jeez.
Like, your friends are spectating you because they got killed, and they're just, like, hoping that you die, but you're just like, I'm not gonna get caught because I'm in this bush. And it's hilarious. It causes for some really, really funny interactions. The game chat too, like the people who play on game chat are all very competitive, which, if you know me, that's my type of style. Like I love a good shit talking lobby before we start playing. Like everyone's in there like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get you. Like, it's fun. It gets intense.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's sick. Now, I guess you can't, like, if you die, like, you can't get revived. Like, it's one and done.
No, yeah, you can't get revived. And there's a lot of really cool things you can do, though, to prevent yourself from dying. Like, the grandpa aspect of it, there's a grandpa who's in a chair that the family can feed blood to. And there are, like, 5 levels of the grandpa. And once they get grandpa to level 5, there's nowhere to hide. Like, you start, grandpa is alerting your location everywhere. He has like psychic powers. He can tell where everyone is. And then so yeah, that's a play style that a lot of people have, is they'll just feed grandpa. But I really like to take one of the bone scraps, because a bone scrap is like a mechanic for the victims to survive, right? If you have a bone scrap, if you picked one up, you can survive an encounter with one of the killers. You can do like a X mash. So it's a competition between you and the other player to see who mashes X quicker. Whoever does survives that encounter. So the bone scrap allows you to do that. But you can also use the bone scrap to sneak up on people and do a sneak attack. So I do like to sneak attack on the killer sometimes, especially if the killer is not playing. It's a great way to get some points. It's really fun to immobilize grandpa, especially after the team is just like going right for level 5 grandpa, you know, and they put in all that hard work, and then here I come and just make them restart. And then they have to like look for my team. It's more fruitful, I've learned, to play as a team and really escape together. There are mechanics in the game that kind of reward you for doing so, as far as like different characters who mesh well with other characters, abilities that allow you to, let's say if you unlock a door, it highlights the door for everyone for 30 seconds. Things like that. And so going back to like the basement exit door opening, like when I first learned how to do that, I was so excited, Blake, because it's like I can like have the whole team on me, right? Like I'll have Leatherface, I'll have the Hitchhiker, I'll have Sissy. They're all chasing me down. But if I get that door open, all of my teammates, the other 3 of my teammates, they don't have any killers on them. They can just walk out that basement exit door, and that's it. The killers are upset. Like, they didn't get it. They might have got me, but everyone else escaped. So it's really cool. And like, if anyone escapes, that's it. The killer's lost.
Oh, if even one person does?
Because it's like...
So when you're like a survivor, you're just like out there trying to sacrifice yourself for the whole team.
I mean, if you want to, you know. And sometimes we'll play with people who are very, like, conservative, and it's all about them, and they don't want to die for the team, and they'll fuck everyone else. Like my friend Matt, he does this thing where he starts when the shit gets heated, shit hits the fan, like the basement, no one's escaped. There's a couple killers in like down there looking for us. He does this thing where he's like, I'm gonna make the spot hot, and like we're hiding, and he's just like he'll bring the killers right to us, making the spot hot. And he just keep yelling that, and we're like, dude, no, just try to get away from him. He just keeps yelling, I'm gonna make the spot hot. I'm gonna make the spot hot.
Man.
And it's terrible, dude. It's terrible. But it causes for some really funny situations. Definitely got to stream that. Definitely got to stream some Texas for y'all. It's very, very funny.
Yeah, that's funny. It just seems like if you've got like different friends, if they're like, depending on where they're at in like that like chaotic, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like the like chaotic good or like lawful evil, like however like we're like different personalities. Are just gonna,
you definitely. It's one of those things where like, you know how people say like you don't learn someone's like true colors until like a situation like that happens. It's like you're really put in a situation like that. So you can see my friend Matt. He's like gonna fuck everyone over to save himself. And even if he's going down, like he'd rather like you go down with them.
Just pulling everybody down.
It's terrible.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, that's awesome. I do have to ask you a question on your button mashing strategy though. Do you stick with your thumb or do you switch over to the index finger?
It depends. If I'm like thinking fast, if I can react fast enough, I'm mashing with my index finger and just like going really fast. Because my thumb is really fast, but I don't know. That's like, I feel like I can go faster if I just like.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If I like switch over to my index finger, I feel like I can go faster.
I'm sure like the discrepancy is not even that different, but it's just all mental.
Yeah. I don't know, because I feel like if you're doing the thumb, like I feel like you're not lifting up as much, but I feel like with the finger, like you can get more muscles engaged in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can like use like your forearm, your shoulder, your bicep, like you're moving your whole arm. So I think you got to be like very disciplined not to make like exaggerated movements.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I guess that's our button mashing strategy here on the Sticky Buttons podcast.
Giving some button mashing strategies there for you.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like we really covered some spooky games this year, you know. I feel like we didn't really do that last year. So yeah, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Cult of the Lamb for our spooky season fix.
Definitely.
Do you think you're going to keep playing even after spooky season's over?
Man. It's one of those games I've already convinced 3 of my friends to purchase this game. Blake,
dang,
you're on that list, Blake, because I want to see what you're like in those situations. Dude. Are you gonna make the spot hot, or are you gonna stay cool and help us escape?
Guess it says a lot about a person. And you have this on PlayStation?
Yeah, I think you can also. It's cross-platform, so there are a lot of PC people, and I highly dislike playing against the PC people because they're very, very strategic. Usually, really good PC. And then there's Xbox people as well.
Okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I guess it's $39 right now. I'm going to hope for a sale. We'll see what happens.
It might go on sale on a very, like, cheerful holiday. Like Easter.
Yeah. Yeah, it might. Oh my gosh. I mean, and honestly, like, it looks just incredible. I mean, obviously, like, hearing you talk about it, that's, I guess, what's motivating more to think about picking it up. But, I mean, it looks very, like, next-gen graphics. Like, it looks very, like, clean. You know what I mean?
It definitely is. It's built on Microsoft Azure, Play Lab, something like that. It's a new kind of studio that Microsoft, like, gaming development software environment, Microsoft developed that I can tell is different from what I've played with in the past. And I'm excited to see what developers can come up with on this engine because this game is super fun. And yeah, the graphics are there. The performance is there. I haven't had any issues as far as like connection wise yet, like lagging and stuff. I feel like that's, you know, these types of games, something you might run into, but yeah. So let me not jinx it, but
yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they did their thing.
This looks awesome.
I have a funny story.
Yeah.
When I picked up the disc for this game, the guy at the mom and pop shop who works there, I've been shopping there my whole life. Mm-hmm. He like never says a word to me, but when I purchased this game, he was like, "Yeah, you picked up a good one." So I knew.
He's into.
I knew from that moment I was in for a roller coaster ride.
Do you think he's playing? Do you think he's hopping in solos, trying to take people out?
He's definitely hopping in his leather face and just one-shotting everyone. There are some people who are like scarily good at this game, dude. Like it's just like there's this one killer, Johnny, who, because every character has like advantages and downfalls. And Johnny's advantage is that he can follow your footprints. So if he sees any footprints, he can pretty much track you and see where you're at, follow you around the map.
Okay.
But his drawback is that he's a little bit bulkier, so he can't sneak in through smaller cracks and crevices, and he's also a little slower. Johnny can't run. He's not going to run. I mean, he can run, but he's not.
He can't run as fast.
No, but like his killer mentality is like, I'm going to get you eventually. So he's just like slowly like.
Oh, he's like not concerned? Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. And like some people play it so well. Like they're just like, they're walking around slowly and like they act like they don't see you, and then they'll like slowly like come back around and like you'll think you're totally fine. You're like, oh, this guy doesn't see me. This guy doesn't see me, because that's a huge part of it is like just like running quickly, escaping, ducking, and like hoping that you lost them. But with Johnny, especially with that footprint ability, he's on to you, man. He's a hound.
Man, that's scary. I feel like that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
The worst killer, the most annoying one, is Sissy. She's very small, very nimble, very quick. She's super fast with her knife. She's like, if she gets a chance to hit you, she might just kill you, like, right there. She's very fast.
Who do you play as?
As a killer, I do Leatherface mainly because I like starting off in the basement. Like I said, I'm a team player, so even when I'm a killer, as Leatherface, in the basement, I'm destroying obstacles for other killers so that when we're chasing them around the basement, it's easier for us to find them. I'm destroying doors so that, victims can't hide. I'm breaking down, like, the little, at the bottom of, like, there are, like, little doors that I'm also breaking down as well so that people can't, like, sneak around us and stuff as easily. So just playing like that, chasing people down, like, just scaring them in the basement so that they can't lockpick the door. So I understand, like, every map where the doors are at, so I try to, like, circle around all the doors, check if there's anyone picking them, rev my chainsaw around it to just, like, let them know, like, oh, I'm here.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's not safe for you to go to that door because I'm around here.
Oh, man.
And, yeah, it's very, very strategic. It's a lot like chess.
Okay.
Like, you have to think steps ahead of from both sides. If you're the victim, you have to try to, like, out-strategize, outthink the killer, and vice versa. One of the funny ways I've died recently was I was trying to go up to the second floor, and I thought these killers really sucked because they were, like, letting me get away with it. I was, like, up there pretty much about to undo the circuit break. Like, I was about to open up the basement exit with the circuit breaker on the second floor. I was super close to doing it. But I didn't notice that the killer had locked all the doors, and I was trapped in the house. I didn't even notice. So
oh, shoot.
When I finally got the basement door exit open, they quickly turned it off because they knew what I was doing. They were just waiting me out. They quickly turned off that basement exit door, so all my work was in vain. And then,
oh man,
they pretty much chased me out because the doors were locked. All my teammates had spread out already outside the house, so they caught me lacking that way. I didn't even consider that could happen to me, but now I know that's a possibility of getting locked in the house. So,
damn,
gotta be quicker.
They actually lock you in. They were probably trying to lock everybody in, but they were able to lock you in because you opened it up long enough for everyone else to get out.
They were able to lock me in because I was the only one who hadn't escaped out from the house, and because there's a basement of the house, and then there's the area outside of it. I was still in there lurking, just trying to I guess they finally figured out that oh, there's still someone in here. Everyone else is outside. We can just close all the doors and get him, and then...
Oh man, that's crazy. So it's not immediately over once you get out of the house. There is still some outside.
No, it's not. So once you get out of the house, it doesn't matter what map there is. There are typically 3 to 4 different exits. There's typically a pressure valve system, right? That you have to find these pressure valves around the map to then go bring them to the pump that's located in different locations. And then you have to load that pressure valve so that you pretty much break the door and then it opens up. And that's one of the exits. And then there's maybe 2 regular fence gates. You just gotta lock pick and then also undo a car. There's a tripwire, electric tripwire, so you have to undo a car battery. There are 2 exits like that. And then there's the basement exit. That's always there. You just have to figure out how to do it. It's the hardest exit to do because if you open it, it's very easy to escape from the basement. You just walk right out. People don't even have to do anything. You can just stay down there, let the killers busy, and while one person opens that exit, everyone just runs out. And the game incentivizes you to play as a team. The audio dialogues that they'll have, when I'm playing as... I like to play as Julie, and my friend Mark loves to play as Connie, and whenever we'll run into each other, Julie will say, oh, Connie, you're alive, let's escape. They have, these, preset things to say.
I love that. In a game when those are, kind of goofy, I love that.
For sure. It's really fun.
All right, man. That's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's awesome. I think you've convinced me. I think I'll have to pick it up, but I'm going to have to wait for the sale. Dang, there's just so many games, man. I find it interesting that, sometimes we'll just pick up, totally different games like on the spectrum. Like, well,
Yeah.
just pick up like the opposites.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes too. Like the most random games will like pick up like just be like, what? Like you're playing that? Like Cult of the Lamb, honestly, is like.
I feel like Cult of the Lamb and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are like
know.
just very much the opposites of like what we could have picked for spooky games.
For sure, but I think they definitely fit October very well, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny, like Cult of the Lamb. I feel like it really fits it. I almost feel like it fits it better, not because of the spooky element of it, but because of like the cute element of it. Like I feel like the spooky and like satanic aspect of it, like I feel like that's just a bonus. But I feel like I was really surprised by like just how cute it was, and like how it kind of like the farming aspect of it really just added to that. I don't know. Maybe I will pick this up. I mean, if there's ever a time when I guess maybe next spooky season when I kind of want I want to get into the farming element of it.
Yeah.
I think that might be a great option. Although I will say that feeling like Minecraft, it kind of gives off like Minecraft energy. So I feel like I'm already kind of satisfied with Minecraft at the moment, as opposed to like jumping into this.
That makes sense.
Well, I think I'd like to bring up, I guess, one other thing, and then I think we've got some 3DS related games. I know Brandon's got one that he's playing on his 3DS, and I've got one that I'd like to bring up, and then I think we can wrap it up. But I want to talk about the playdate a little bit more. We kind of brought it up, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think
cool console.
Yeah, and we just weren't able to fit it into last week. So I wanted to give a quick update on that. And I guess just for if you didn't know what the playdate was or you didn't tune into that episode, the playdate is like a little handheld gaming device. It's got a monochromatic screen. Actually, it's an LCD, so it's like a black and white LCD. It's not backlit. And when you purchase it, you get a season of games. It's got an A button, a B button, a D-pad, and it's got this really awesome crank. And I wanted to kind of talk about it as I played some more games with it, including Crankin's Time Travel Adventure, which is the one that I guess caught Brandon's eye when he was looking at some of the listings. And it caught my eye as well when I wanted to pick this up. I wanted to talk about that and also just like how to sideload some games. So they say you can sideload games on it, and I thought that meant that you like plug it into your computer via USB-C. It's got a USB-C port, so I thought like just plug in USB-C and then I'll just be able to like drag and drop games. I thought that's how it was going to work, but it's actually you do that on their website. Their website, you have like an account, and you can like go in your account, you can select like sideload games, and you just drop the zip file into it. Like you don't even have to unzip it. I actually unzip something and you have to put in the zip file. So it's like incredibly easy. Like you don't have to do anything. Like you don't even have to uncompress the zip file. You just drop the zip file in, and then it sends it over the internet. You can download it onto your game, onto your handheld, which I just thought was incredible. So I want to shout out some of the ones I sideloaded. I sideloaded this one game called 1-Bit Pac-Man, and it's kind of just like a Pac-Man clone, but it's got like different fruits in it, and you can like get a gun as a power-up. You can get like, there's one power up where it makes you like invincible for 10 seconds, and usually the gun you can like shoot the ghosts. So it's 1-Bit Pac-Man. I got this one game called Sprout, which I have not tried yet, but I got this one called Rain Blocks, and it's essentially Tetris, and it's got some like lo-fi music, which I think is great. And there's this one that it's kind of like the Pico 8, is that how you say it? Like Pico 8 version of Celeste, which is kind of when we talked about Celeste. This is the, I guess, like the Game Jam prototype for Celeste that was on the Pico 8 console. And somebody made like a 1-bit version of that, or like a black and white version of that. So I've been kind of playing like a couple Celeste levels, or the Pico 8 Celeste levels. And there's this one, it's called Untitled, quite possibly a fighting game. And it's really cool. I'm going to try and show Brandon, and maybe he can describe it better than I can. It's not really complete. Like you select a character, there's like a character select screen, like pick your fighter. And I guess I'll try and show Brandon. But yeah, it kind of just looks like a 2D fighter, but the other person doesn't fight back. So you can just like beat somebody up, and then when their health goes down, that's it. So like the other person doesn't fight back. So I think it's like somebody's prototype. it honestly, I mean, like, it looks incredible. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I love the screen on that.
Yeah, I mean, just like look at like the art. It's just like incredible. Like I can't believe
so
it.
Crisp.
Because it's like it's like a Game Boy, right? Like it's black and white, but it's like a modern LCD. It's like the detail is just insane. I just can't believe it. Really cool.
I love that crank.
The crank is awesome. And I actually do just want to talk about that really quick. I thought, so there's a way, I guess I'll show Brandon as I'm kind of describing it. You can fold the crank into the body of the device, right? So it kind of makes it less intrusive. It kind of just, it doesn't really stick out. But I never have it, like, it's kind of like folded in on itself. And I guess if you look at the website, look at the playdate, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I always keep the crank out because the crank is, surprisingly, it is an incredible input device. Like, it feels like the next evolution. Well, I don't know. Maybe that might be a little bit. I mean, I don't think the PS6 controller is going to have a crank on it. But it might. I mean, it's the input of it is really awesome because you can speed up, you can crank faster, you can slow down, crank slow, you can go forwards, backwards. It works astonishingly well as an input device. And I think that I'm just constantly surprised, especially seeing new ways and new creative ways that it's done. Like I feel like if this was the last console ever made, like I would be satisfied. Like I could endlessly play games on this thing. And I haven't even touched onto any games that like you can pay money for. So I guess the side-loaded games, all the ones that I talked about they're pay as you wish, but I decided not to donate. And I just kind of picked them up and put them on. But I just want to really quick talk about Crankin's time traveling adventure, which, oh my gosh, I have to look up the developer. He's the same developer that made Katamari Damacy, which I don't think we've talked about on the show before. Okay, so this is created by Kita Takahashi, and honestly, this game is sick, Brandon. I honestly can't believe this game exists. I can't believe this game is so good, and I can't believe there is so much of this game. So basically, you wake up, it's 3 o'clock, you have a date at 3 with your girlfriend, and you have to crank your little robot guy who's kind of like a wind-up robot. You have to crank him through a bunch of obstacles by going backwards and forwards in time. And like, so for example, there's like a common obstacle where there's like a hurdle. Like you have to like launch yourself over these like track hurdles, and there's a butterfly, and sometimes the butterfly will go over and it kind of like, it'll dip, and sometimes it'll go under the hurdle. So if it goes under the hurdle, you have to jump over the hurdle at the same time that the butterfly flies under the hurdle. So you really have to like time it. And then at the end of the level, you're always late to your date because you wake up when you're supposed to be there. So he's always running late. And it's really funny because a lot of times, like, you'll get to I think that it depends on like how late you are. Like you get different animations. And so like I showed up to the date like 14 minutes late one time, and she slapped me. And like, I guess you go on your date. I mean, you continue to have dates, so she hasn't dumped you yet. Maybe that's like the final level. Maybe she'll dump you. But like I got to one that was like 30 minutes late. Like I got to the date like 30 minutes late. She like picked me up, took me over her shoulder, and just like slammed me.
You got suplexed.
I got suplexed. I was like, what? And then I showed up to one like 40 minutes late, and she just like kicked me in the balls.
Dude,
I was like, what?
Oh man, that would be rough.
And it like keeps happening to this guy, like this poor robot, like Crankin. He just is showing up to dates late.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Imagine that were your reality, to just like constantly show up to dates late and have to deal with the consequences. That's a rough existence, dude.
But it honestly, like, it's hilarious because as you're cranking through these levels and trying to like, sometimes like it's like you're locked to different animations. So like one, you have to like vault over like a hurdle. Ones you have to sit down for tea, and like when you sit down for tea, your head like dips down over the table, and then things can fly over your head. There's a couple where like you have to like do a pull up or something close to a pull up, and that'll like lift your feet up, and it's kind of just like you have different obstacles coming your way. And there's like one where it's like these pigs, like it'll be like a stampede of pigs, and if they come after you, you have to just run. Like you can't get away from them. There's no way you can jump from them. There's no way you can dodge them. So right now I'm stuck on a level. I'm actually going to see if it'll tell me which level I'm on. which also I just started the game and I'm already in it. Okay, so I'm on the 16th date. I thought there was 20, so I was trying to beat it before I talked about it. But also just, these levels are just so challenging. Like, they were, like, easy, and then it's just, like, the difficulty just, like, spiked up. Like, this may be the hardest game I've played in, like, a long time. I don't think I'll ever finish this. I think it's so hard. So I'm on the 16th date.
That's a lot of dates, dude.
I'm just running from some flying pigs. That's what I'm doing. It's crazy. Honestly, I can't fathom it. There's no way that I'm going to win this level right now. Oh, yeah, I got hit in the head by a flying pig. It's very goofy, very silly. And I actually just want to count out really quick. So I haven't opened all the games yet. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 games to check out still that I haven't even checked out. I honestly really thought I'd be able to play like 2 a week, but I really just haven't really even been able to play these because I want to finish them, but I think that maybe it's not the point to finish them, and I should just check them out. Because I haven't finished the first one, which is Casual Birders, and I think that one's really fun. I think I really want to finish that one, but yeah, it's just incredible. Just an incredible device, the Playdate. So cool. It's such an incredible handheld.
Shout out to the creators.
I'm so sorry. I do want to shout out one more thing. They have a podcast.
Oh.
They produced a podcast based on, or it's by the company, and their first episode is the creation of the Playdate. And it was a decade in the making. It's a harrowing tale of how they had to fight the chip shortage during the pandemic, and how the production, they had so many variations in how they basically were able to figure out how to make these during COVID. And they had their first meeting, their first concept. They sought some people out, and they were laughed out of the room because they've only ever made software. It's truly it's an incredible tale. If you're interested in how things are made, how gaming devices are made, or if you're just interested in the general business of it, it is an absolutely incredible tale. So if you just search the Playdate podcast, that's episode 1. And then they talk about each of the games in the first season. They have a designated episode about the creation of the game where they interview the developers, which is just so cool that all this information is available for this thing. Because I mean, we don't have this for anything else. We don't have this kind of information for the Game Boy, DS or Switch or name it. It's just so cool. There's all this information out there.
It really is. It's now more than ever. All of this information is more accessible. You can find anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear more about the Playdate, dude.
Yeah. I'll link it in the show notes, but I'll also send it to you, Brandon. Yeah, it's just called the Playdate Podcast, and the first episode is the story of Playdate. And it talks about how
there are no more shortages on them, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lead time. I think you still have to pre-order it, and it's 3 months, I think, the last time I looked. Here, I'll send it to you. And then I'll link it in the show notes as well.
So, moving on to the next title here. We're going to move on to the DS. Taking it back to Nintendo's handheld console era. I love my 3DS. It's good to be back on it. My 3DS is... I'm lucky that I bought one of the newer versions of it. I think I got the 3DS XL.
Nice.
So the graphics that I'm playing with are pretty good. Decent for the game that I'm playing. I'm playing Pokemon Heart Gold.
Hell yeah. Did you start over, or are you just continuing your save?
I started over because I was inspired by Blake in his playthrough of Heart Gold. I wanted to start over. I had 2 copies. One copy was an old playthrough. I had 4 badges. But I didn't really like that playthrough, so I wanted to start over as Naomi, my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been pretty cool. I remember I used to watch a lot of playthroughs as a kid. People playing Pokemon. I never understood why people would play as a girl sometimes. But now I kind of get it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not what I'm used to. And yeah, I've been having a blast just building my team. Right now.
So are you building your team based on what you would do, or are you kind of what would Naomi do?
No, I'm definitely building the team based off what I would do. I'm Eevee training. because this game is harder. You know, like you were saying last time we talked about it. This Pokemon game is a challenge for sure. Nothing is being handed to you in this Pokemon game. Like right now, I'm training in the grass in order to beat the 3rd gym because I'm underleveled for the team that I have. I'm trying to Eevee train, so I took my starter Cyndaquil and I caught a Ditto in the grass, and I just had them mate until I found I believe it's a modest.
Oh man, you're breeding. You bred your starter and you ditched your starter to get the right nature.
Yeah, dude, that's how.
Damn, I don't fuck around like that, man. I feel like the starter, I always take whatever it is. It's like the roll of the dice. That's my one.
Dude. Like I spent time in the grass finding a timid Nidoran. Like,
dang,
it's serious, dude. I have a Jolly. I have Cyndaquil. I have Nidoran, and then Butterfree. Yes, I've been using Butterfree, who's also a timid nature, very, very fast, who's just been a huge asset to the team, just being able to quickly stun people, poison people, just give them any status effect.
Yeah, Butterfree is an absolute beast, which I've never really played. I mean, they're like the king of the Kanto region, man. They're a huge asset to the team.
I was thinking, like, imagine running into something like that in real life, like a mega-sized, like...
A huge butterfly that could put you to sleep, poison you,
yeah, dude,
confuse you.
Dude, that'd be rough. But I totally see nature giving us having something like that.
Yeah. Have you made it to the... Oh my gosh, I forget what it's called, but it's like the place where you can do like the bug catching contest.
Yes. I haven't started the contest per se, but I've been there training, fought some trainers, I've caught some Pokemon. That's another thing too, like filling out the decks. Now, it's really cool to see how I've matured as a Pokemon player. You know, before I would never care about filling out the decks. But now it's like, especially with one of these older games, because I did try to recently get back on Scarlet, and it was a harrowing experience after having spent so much time on Heart Gold. You know, I was like flying on this Pokemon, and it was cool to have the open world experience, and the quality of life is like awesome. But there's just something to the 2D experience that, you know, we spoke about this before, but it's just truly like, I've really, really felt it playing on the 3DS. And it makes me upset that we can't have that on the Switch, dude. And that's why I have my next game that I want to bring on the podcast. Which, screw it, we might as well get into it.
Let's get into it, man.
More Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Because it's awesome to have a Switch and all these great graphics, but it sucks when you don't have a Pokemon game to like play on it that you're super stoked about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Let's Go Eevee has kind of been that for me. Even the first time I played Let's Go Eevee, I had a great experience just going to the Kanto region. Something is calling me to like the Kanto and Johto region. It's another reason why I'm on Heart Gold. I don't know what it is, but I want that kind of like quintessential Pokemon experience. And dude, Let's Go Eevee definitely gives me that at a heightened level. Being able to like just customize my Eevee, walk around with it everywhere.
Wait, you can customize it?
Yeah, the different catching mechanics.
What do you mean?
What do you mean about like customizing or catching mechanics?
Yeah, what do you mean that you can like customize your Eevee?
Well, you can like give your Eevee like outfits and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, dude. Okay, wait, can you like if you're playing like Pokemon Go and you catch like a Pikachu in an outfit, can you transfer that to like?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you'd probably be able to transfer that to Let's Go.
With the outfit?
Most likely, yeah, because it's just just going to transfer the Pokemon over.
I may have been sleeping on Pokemon Let's Go because I've never...
Dude, I love the experience of being able to go through Kanto with these graphics. And it's like a dance, like it's a mix of both worlds where they're like, it's not quite Heart Gold or like that Pokemon that we know and love, but it's still like a lot of those elements.
Because the catching mechanics are a little bit different.
Yeah,
right?
but it's not even just that. Like, it's just a lot of the elements.
You can't really fight either, is it?
Yeah, you can't really fight like that. There aren't like wild battles. You only fight trainers, which is like, I'm not too upset about. You level up every time you catch a Pokemon, so it kind of really incentivizes just completing that Pokédex. Incentivizes catching multiple Pokemon, because like Pokemon Go, they're tiny Pokemon, they're huge Pokemon, different weights, variants, like Pidgeys, different colors. I like that a lot. That's really cool. That's kind of what I mean. Like, being able to have, like, some elements of the new Pokemon and the old Pokemon that I really enjoy in one place on the Switch makes me really, really excited. And
maybe I should pick this up, man. I don't know if I ever did, really.
I want to complete Heart Gold, and, like, go through the 16 badges again. And then go through Let's Go Eevee and see how I feel about, like, the Kanto region. Just do, like, kind of Kanto revisit. I've been reading rumors as well that there is a Pokemon Black and White 2 remake that's coming out, which is like, I wasn't a huge fan of that region to begin with.
Is that the one that's kind of like based on New York?
I think that region is based off of America. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the region, but if it's anything,
I haven't played that one. That's one I haven't played.
Black and White.
Yeah, it's one of I think it's the last one that came out on like DS cartridges. DS cartridges?
Yeah, it is.
And it's hard to find. It's hard to come by. I think that, I don't know. It's very expensive nowadays, so I just have never really had the opportunity to play it. Because I'd kind of moved on by the time it came out, and coming back to it, like, I'm not going to spend $100 on that.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair, dude. It's definitely not worth $100, I'll tell you that. And if the remakes are anything like BDSP, like, dude, I re-downloaded BDSP and I was giving it a chance, and I was like, this is not it. Like, it's...
That's funny. I would think I was more hot on BDSP than you were. I actually think that it improved the original BDSP, and I actually really liked it. I really liked the Underground, and I've been thinking about picking that back up as well. But yeah, I think it's good that we're looking backwards. I mean, it would be nice to look forwards, with the Pokemon franchise, but there are just so many that you can really get that kind of experience again just by replaying the games that we already have.
For sure. I'm gonna take it even further back, dude, and fucking play like Pokemon Emerald, the OG Pokemon that I had. Maybe it's time to crank out a simulator or something.
Yeah. You should hold off on that. I got a surprise for you.
Okay, alright.
I think the time will come for that.
Awesome. Alright.
So. But I kind of want to take it, kind of steer the conversation a little bit to another 3DS game. And I actually think it's interesting to talk about in tandem, because I think one of the things that, I guess, Heart Gold does really well is there aren't as many stakes, and it really kind of just lets you exist in the Pokemon world. I don't know if you feel that way.
I definitely do, even from the beginning. Like, you're not being like, oh, let's run over here and do this, and like, let's do that. Like, oh, you can't go here because of this. There's some of that, but there's not, like, you know what I mean?
It's certainly less than the other ones. They really kind of just let you exist. And I kind of just want to, like, really quick on, like, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, you're kind of, like, up until a certain point, like, you're just doing the gym challenge. And they're just like, hey, like, you gotta, like, this is your journey. Like, you're fighting the gyms. And then at the end, the Chancellor's just like, and now for the end of the world, like, I'm gonna destroy the world. And I didn't mind it, but it was kind of like I was just existing in this Pokemon world, and now I gotta save it because, like, there's an end of the world event, And I think that part of the formula has just gotten kind of old.
Yes, I agree. It takes away from what they actually have at Pokemon.
Yeah, and I think that's just, like, so many people just want to, like, just exist in the game. Like, just let me, like, make a team. Like, let me catch Pokemon. Like, let me chill with my Pokemon. And I, like, just want to be in the world that, you've created. And I feel like that's very interesting to, like, talk about that. And this game that I'm giving a shot, I'm trying it out, and that's Animal Crossing New Leaf. Actually, I don't know if that's actually the title.
New Horizons?
No, I'm playing it on the 3DS. I'm not playing the new one. I'm playing
The older one. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I missed part of the name, but I think it's like Animal Crossing New Leaf something, and it's on the 3DS. And I was able to pick this up digitally before the store closed. Okay, yeah, it's called Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo, which I guess you could just call it New Leaf. But anyways, I think it's really cool, and I think it really kind of captures that, just like you're just chilling here in this space. And I think it does that really well. So I've been enjoying it. I've been liking Animal Crossing. It's certainly new because there's truly like no stakes really. Like you kind of just go around, pick stuff up and sell it. And that's kind of it. You kind of talk to the villagers. And I'm really enjoying that right now. Like it's very peaceful. I named my town Seaside. And I'm just kind of living my life, man. I'm catching bugs, catching fish, finding fossils, donating them to the museum. I've got like a 1-bedroom room. I'm trying to pay off my loan. It's really peaceful, man. I'm really just there's really not a whole lot to do. You kind of get in, you can play it for, 20, 30 minutes a day, and that's kind of it. And I just think it's funny. I think it's silly because I kind of put myself in like this isolated part of like the map. I built my house. And then this guy fucking built a house right next to me. I was so pissed. Dude, I was so pissed.
Dude, that drives me so insane. That happens to me in real life, dude. It happens to me so often, dude. It's the worst.
In real life, you have people that build their house right next to you?
You never have that phenomenon where you're like the only person to get on a train or a bus, and then
they just sit right next to you.
The only other person will come in and sit right next to you. Or like you're like standing somewhere, you're like, oh, like let me do this. Let's say you're at like a festival and you're like, oh, let me do this right here. No one is doing this. I'm gonna do this. Now everyone else is gonna come and do that too because you're.
It's the law of attraction, Brandon. People must like you, man.
Yeah, dude.
So this motherfucker named Coach moved in right next to me.
He left his house
next to me.
Dude, the urinal, has that ever happened to you? I know that probably has happened.
Yeah.
That's a weird one too.
I honestly, like, when I was in high school and college, I would do that to people, like, if they pissed me off. I'd, like, go stand next to them at the
What, dude?
Or, like, there was...
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I think there was this one guy in college, I just didn't like him. He really, I thought he was just, like, a dirtbag, and I really just didn't fuck with him. And we'd have some of the same classes together, and, like, I'd see him in the bathroom sometimes, and I'd go stand right next to him every time. Because I could tell it just got under his skin.
Yeah, and he didn't say anything about it. That's...
No, he never did.
Dude, that's hilarious.
So I guess that's what this guy Coach did to me.
Yeah, dude.
And I guess...
He's like, oh, I see you got this nice isolated spot. Let me get right next to you.
I was so mad, I, like, dug a bunch of holes all over his house. Like, right in front of his house, I just dug holes. I was like, you can't get out. Like, good luck. And then I didn't see him for a couple days, and I just, like, whenever I'd, like, pass his house in the morning, I'd, like, dig a hole so he couldn't get out. But he's, like, a jock. I mean, his name's Coach, so every time I see him, he's just, like, getting sweaty in the gym, gotta, hit the workout. Like, yeah, like, bulking up. It's kind of funny because
he's always putting in that work.
It's constant.
There's always a character like that in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time with a Coach right next to me. I'm kind of hoping that he moves, but he's starting to grow on me a little bit because he's always like, oh, did you get your workout in today?
I'm like, no.
No.
That's good.
Because I've been playing in the morning, like before I get on to work. It's kind of nice to like have it with coffee in the morning. Like the only thing is like the shops aren't open, so I'll have to like set it down and then come back later on my lunch. But I think it's really funny because I've got some like my grandma, her name's Pat, so I've got a Pat. Or I mean, I couldn't have planned this. Like this is like an island. Like it just kind of like generated. It's like my grandma's name is Pat. I've got a Patty on my island, and I've got Elmer. My grandpa's name is Elmer. So I've got Patty and Elmer. They're just chilling on my island, and I think that's so funny.
That is actually kind of scary. What are they changing? Like, it's not like your grandparents have, like, names that are very common.
I know, yeah. So, I mean, and, like, Patty's on my mom's side and Elmer's on my dad's side. So they're kind of just, like, retiring out here on the village. And every time I talk to them, I'm just like, these are my grandparents. They're here, I guess, on my island.
That's adorable, dude. That's awesome.
And then, oh, my gosh, I had this one... Oh, my gosh. Her name is Gloria. She's one of my villagers. I talked to her for the first time and she screamed at me. She was like, "Oh, so you finally acknowledge my existence." And she like screamed at me. She's like, "I've been here the whole time and you haven't talked to me once." She's like, "I was going to say hi. I was going to, but then I didn't. And I've been waiting here."
Yeah.
And then she yelled, "I moved in 2 months ago." And like the 2 months were like bolded, italicized, and they were like wiggling on the screen. So I guess I just never talked to this person.
Did you actually start 2 months ago?
Well, yeah, I started it a while ago. But at the time that I like talked to her, I had been like playing 2 whole months, I guess. And like I just hadn't talked to her. I thought I had talked to everybody, but she was in like her house was in like the corner of the island. She was not happy, but we're friends now. So that's me and Gloria. Every time I talk to her, though, she's kooky. Because, I mean, obviously the first time I met her, she, like, yelled at me. And I'm the mayor, you know? So I feel like that should command some kind of respect. But every time I talk to her, she's like, "Jingle or Franklin?" And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So she's kind of kooky.
Yeah, there's always going to be that kooky character on the island. Oh, man.
But she's funny. I really like it. And then Isabel keeps wanting me to run the town, but I didn't really want that. Like, I kind of just moved here, and I don't know. I feel like she keeps pestering me about coming and sitting in my mayor's chair because we've got some work to do. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen because I feel like, I guess, did you ever play New Leaf? Did you ever play Animal Crossing New Leaf?
My first introduction to Animal Crossing was New Horizons on the Switch.
So I guess to give you some context, you start out on the train, and you take a train to the village, your village here, and then you kind of get there, and everybody's waiting for you at the train station, and they're like, "Oh, you're the mayor, like you're the new mayor," and you try to tell them you're not the mayor, but they don't believe you. They're like, "Stop that nonsense, like you're the mayor," and you're kind of just like forced into it. And then when you finally like set up your house, like you get a letter in the mail, and somebody's like, "Hey, thanks for covering for me. I didn't want to be the mayor. Good luck. I know you're going to do great." So there's mystery, like who is supposed to be the mayor, like, but everybody thinks it's you.
So someone on the island is the actual mayor.
Well, I don't know. There was some other people on the train, so I feel like it's a little bit suspicious circumstances. I'm not sure
Interesting.
that you end up being the mayor. You're kind of forced into it, forced into public service. So I don't know how it's going to turn out for me.
Sounds a bit like extortion.
But I feel kind of bad because there's this villager, her name is Isabel. She's running the whole island. Like, she doesn't need me, really. Like, she's working 24/7, night or day.
Oh, she runs, like, the Nook services or whatever?
It's the town hall. Like, I feel like she's king of this island. And she's giving me the title of mayor. It's like an artificial title. Like, she holds all the power.
She's the Fed, and you're just the president.
Yeah. I don't know what to quite make of it. But I will kind of just like there's a bench and it overlooks the seaside. And I'll just like go up there and kind of sit down in game and just kind of like just have a moment. So it's interesting. I've never played a game like this where I feel like the point is not to do anything. It's just to kind of be there and to kind of hang out. And I really like that there's absolutely no stakes. I'm enjoying that, but I don't know. I mean, like, I haven't been able to create anything, really. Like, I've kind of been able to decorate my home. I've got a really cool bed, really cool couch, and a cool plant, and a locker. So, that's about all I've got right now. I'm really having a good time, though. I'm finding fossils, catching fish, catching bugs, and donating those to the museum, and that's been fun. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it's nice having, like, a positive ritual in your life, so.
I'm glad you found Animal Crossing, and have found space for it in your life, dude. It's peaceful. I honestly miss playing Animal Crossing. I might reinstall that into my Switch. Been looking to get back into my Switch, which is why I've been exploring all these different Pokemon games. And you know what? I think I might give Pokemon Brilliant Diamond another try.
You should, man. I feel like it did kind of capture the heart and soul of BDSP, or Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I think it did. I think it did a great job, and I think it really kind of expanded on what kind of Pokemon you could have on your team.
Yeah.
Because you could find different Pokemon in the underground, in the caverns. And I thought it was just a really fun, like, if you played online, like, you could see other people running around and catching Pokemon. And I thought it was great. I actually have been meaning to pick it back up, but.
Yeah. I gotta pick it up. It's been such a long time. When I got back onto it, I was just not feeling it, dude. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I spoiled myself with Hard Cold, dude. It's like, I'm playing these new things, and I'm just like, I kind of want to go back to Heart Gold. It's just like something's calling me back to it. So.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an incredible game. I'm happy that I picked that one up. That one I did pay I paid like $100 for that.
I'm upset, dude, because I have 2 of them. One of my Heart Golds is my uncle's playthrough that I don't want to delete. But he has this one Dragon Knight that's sick, dude. I need to
trade it.
I need to trade it.
Trade it, take it, man.
I've been trying to find my little sister's DS so I can trade it, but she lost it. She misplaced it, dude.
I'll bring it over to my place. I actually have 2. I've got the 3DS and then I've got the 2DS that plays like the straight up one.
Alright, so yeah, I gotta bring over my 2 copies and I could trade some mons.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude.
Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It looks like we're hitting that point again where it's gonna be a whole lot of Pokemon talk.
I don't know. I want to get back into it, but there's also a part of me I don't want to be hurt again, man.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just feel like I really just got so burned on Scarlet and Violet.
For sure, dude. I
feel like I'm not over that one yet.
Trying to get back into that was like, and I tried like this past week. It was just so fucking like, I don't know. Just wasn't it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it. I wasn't having
I'm so close to the end, too, that there's a part of me that's like, just finish it out. And like, I've got a really good team, got an overpowered team, but it's just, something about it. It doesn't quite feel right to me.
It's true. I was thinking about Arceus, going back to Arceus, which could be fun.
Yeah.
Like, that one I'm a little more open to going back to, but even still, like, I'm not too excited about. I'm more excited about Brilliant Diamond than Arceus, honestly.
Yeah. And you gotta think, I mean, all 3 of those games came out within a year of each other. So, I feel like that definitely says it all right there. Like, they all needed a little more time, I think, to bake.
Yeah, they just kind of, like, threw them at us.
Yeah, I hope they've learned, because, I mean, they've got to be able to see, like, the stats. Because, I mean, this was the, like, Scarlet and Violet, like, so many people bought that game. Like, it was I think it was the fastest selling Pokemon game in a long time, and it just like I'm sure that they can see how many people are still playing it and how many people are still playing the other ones. Like I played Sword more than
you played Sword a crazy amount.
Yeah, well I was gonna say I've played Sword more than Scarlet and Violet Scarlet and Violet came out, if that makes sense.
Dude, I bought a whole Switch dedicated to Scarlet and Violet and haven't played it because it's hard to go, like it's literally hard to play.
Yeah.
I haven't had this experience with the game in a while.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm forcing myself to play.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to do that. Although the limited edition Switch you got is sick, so.
It is awesome.
I think.
And that's what's calling me back. It's like, I'm on the DS, I'm like, I could be on the Switch right now. It's like this.
Nah, I gotta show the DS some love, man.
That's a fact.
These games are great. Yeah, these games are awesome. I think I'm gonna play some more of that when we get off. But I guess on that note, I have never finished the game Eastward. And I feel like every time I keep a list of games that I try and like games that I think are worth the time to go back to. And Eastward has just been at the top of that list for so long that I'm like, I need to finish that one up. So I'm really trying to finish up Eastward. And then I got a game on sale on the Switch that I'm really excited to talk about. But I'm forcing myself to finish Eastward before I even like start playing it. So whenever that happens, I've got a really cool Switch game that I want to talk about. I'm sure I'm going to like it. I did a ton of research on it. So I think that's going to be fun to bring to the show too.
I'm excited to hear about it, dude. Eastward, I played a little bit of it and this is very captivating. Even my little sister was playing it. And that says a lot 'cause she doesn't play anything besides like what she usually plays, just like Minecraft.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. I wish I would have picked up a physical edition of it, but it's okay to have it digital, I think. I don't think I'm gonna buy this one twice. But they did announce some DLC for 2024.
It's not that big of an install, is it? It's like only like 11 gigabytes.
Yeah, it's pretty small. But yeah, Eastward. So cool, man. I actually just got to a really interesting portion. Like the story took a little bit of a twist that I was surprised by. It took like a darker twist. I won't spoil it, but there was a character that died, and I was surprised that happened. I guess I shouldn't have been, but in retrospect, now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. I was surprised. I was kind of sad. I was taken aback. But it's a compelling story, and it's a fun gameplay, and the world's just so beautiful. I could talk forever about Eastward. Well, on that note, do you think we should wrap it up?
Definitely. We should take this episode eastward.
Yeah, if that's your one takeaway, Eastward is great. I guess before we end it up, both Brandon and I are on Blue Sky. So if you're lucky enough to be on Blue Sky as well, you can find us there. My username is handheldblake. So I guess if you want to shout yours out, Brandon, you don't have to. Don't feel pressure.
Yeah. My username is boldbrain.
Nice. And I guess, I don't know, I mean, if you're on Blue Sky, I guess you can just search it. But I think that, like, the official usernames have, like, .bsky.social in them. But yeah, Blue Sky. If you're on Blue Sky, we're both on Blue Sky. You can follow us on Twitch, or follow Brandon on Twitch. I guess you can follow me on Twitch there as well. We're on YouTube. We have an Instagram and a TikTok. It would mean the world to us if you follow us. Or
Tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to go the extra mile, we have a Patreon as well, and you'll get access to our Minecraft server. And we also recently just recorded another Patreon episode.
Yes.
That we're in the process of putting out. And that one was so fun. I think this is going to be a good format for us because that was just so fun to record. I loved doing that episode. That was awesome.
We had a blast recording that one. I'm looking forward to the next quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got Game of the Year, too. It's coming up.
Game of the Year coming up. Got to get that list ready.
I've started my list. I'm excited. I filled out the 10 spot. I was like, this is definitely number 10. And then I was like, I think that's got to be higher. So, who knows? Game of the Year, man. It's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned.
All right. I guess that's it.
That's it.
Sticky Buns Podcast. Internet and radio show.
Favorite internet radio show.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.